You and me go fishing in the... I don't remember the words. Hey, yo! What is going on? Arkansas Razorback fans and the occasional SEC fans that hop on through, that find their way here. I hope you guys are doing so swell. I know it's been a while. This is once again pretty unannounced. What do you expect? Welcome. For anyone who's new in here, videos have been, well, the live streams have been pretty inconsistent lately. It's just, COVID kind of grounded everything around here, with the kids being home. Now we're getting into the summer, right? Like we're kind of, things are kind of getting back to normal around here. Not that it's a lot different than when school was canceled and everything. All right. How can you not remember the words "fishing in the dark"? I know. You and me go fishing in the dark. I'm not a big country guy. Funny thing about that, really quick, before I get into the typical intro stuff, I edit the Friday Hog Talk episodes. I do the editing for the Friday shows, unless I'm unavailable, which was the case a couple of weeks ago, and then in that case, Kyle will edit up and host and do everything. And I always try to figure out really fun, cool intro music. And I remember that song because I had a teacher in high school, Mr. Renfro. Is it Renfro? Anyways, at West Campus High School in Fayetteville, a long time ago, he would walk around the classroom, before they had tablets in the classroom, like they do today, and he would hand out your grades from whatever test or whatever, and he'd walk around just singing that song. I think it was that song. I'm almost positive it was that song. He would sing all sorts of random country, but for some reason I had it in my head that he would sing that. Elmore. Mr. Elmore. That was his name. So I had it envisioned in my head that he was singing that song, and I thought that was a really fun song. And I had it stuck in my head, and some years later, a friend of mine, I was kind of humming it, and I was like, man, I don't know the words of that song, but it's really, it's catchy. He goes, oh, dude, I've got it right here. He pulls out remember the CD cases? You remember when that was the thing? The younger millennials are like, what the hell's a CD? You mean Blu-ray? Anyways, he pulled it out and put it in the CD player. I was like, that's it. That song is so catchy. So I use that as an intro to one of our Friday shows. All right. Welcome. Some things that are different in here. The floor has been pulled up in here. We don't have carpet. So I've been working with the sound in here is impossible now. It feels like I'm inside a basketball arena. I hope the sound is okay. Also, my chair that I used to complain about, well, my kids were in here. Well, actually, my oldest was in here doing her homework or her schoolwork, working in the Google Classroom. And somehow she broke it. I don't know the bottom of it fell out. And I was like, what did you do? You're talking about a 45-pound little girl, a 7-year-old. Somehow she managed to break that chair. And if I could manage to sit on the damn thing and not break it, I don't know what she did. But anyways. So I'm sitting in a hardwood chair that is really hurting my ass right now. This sucks. Okay. Also, tonight, I've never had these. I don't know if you guys have ever had this beer. I'm gonna drink it live because why the hell not? It says on the I'll just do this here. I've got one pulled out. Core Brewing and Distilling Company, and they're based out of Springdale, Arkansas. It's Razorback Red, American Red Ale, 5.2. Let's see, what's the 19? So it's okay. The official craft brewery of Arkansas Razorbacks. Yeah, government warning, blah blah blah. But this is the official beer. When I first saw it, I just thought, well, maybe picked it up at a Walmart, and I thought, well, no way, what? They have an official beer? But sure enough, there's their little, I don't know, my camera's not, it's not, I don't know why that's so blurry, but anyways, that's it. So we're going to try this. But anyways, yeah, if you guys would, of course, you're already commenting, share the content across social media, and be sure you tag me in it, just so I can, I don't know, sometimes I say thank you. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. Again, I hope the sound is okay. I have not. There's been so many updates across OBS, the software I use to live stream and all this stuff. There's different things that YouTube does now. It's incredible. I mean, it's been a little while and all this stuff happens. Okay, let me get caught up on chat really quick. Cheers, Ty. Been a minute. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm not wearing my Flamingo Friday shirt. I don't think anyone's pointed that out yet. Are we still doing? Oh, there it is. Azazian. He's calling me out. Are we still doing flamingos? I had my shirt, and I was going to throw it on before, and I didn't. Called me out. Yo, John Hawes. I'm in. Just scarfed down a pound of undercooked cow. Ooh, be careful. Be careful with that. With hamburger, because, well, I don't want to ruin beef for you. I love hamburgers. But supposedly you can eat a steak damn near raw. They say not to do that with the hamburgers. I have a friend of mine that actually works for Sam's Club in the beef department. Just saying, be careful. Is it really happening? What year? I'm planning on going to Arkansas State. Yeah, we don't have a year yet on any of that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Yo, what's up, folks? What's going on? Kelly Marie. Cody Sutterfield, what up? Cold beer and no mask and a live stream America. I also don't have my glasses on, as usual. For those of you old-timers that have been coming around for a while, I'm always complaining about not wearing my glasses. This feels like a virtual family reunion. I know, right? Thank you, Austin. I know. Liked and shared. Kelly, you're just so... you're awesome. You know that. What's your Rocket Sanders prediction? I feel like he's a hog. I'll get to that in a minute. How can you not remember the words? I know. You look familiar. Good to see you. Thanks. I need a haircut so bad too. The gentleman I've been going to down on Emma Street. Couldn't tell you his name. I was gonna plug him a couple times. I keep forgetting. I thought I had his card. He's down on Emma Street. He's right next to the Apollo building on Emma. If you know that old looking theater with the big Apollo sign, he's right next to it. I've gone to him before and I really liked how he cuts my hair. Typically I go to Sports Clips too, or not Sports Clips. What's that one down there in Fayetteville next to the Gap? It's in between Walmart and the Gap. Not Gap, God. Oh, my gosh. GameStop is there, Slim's. But anyways, the place back there that cuts hair. Pretty good. I like what they do. But I need a haircut really bad. So, hey, Ty, long time no see. What's up? How you doing? Sounds good here across the pond. I love Arkansas Red. Sup, Ty? Good to see you again. What's up, Alex? How you doing, my man? I wanted to try this, so I'm going to do it for you. So why not? Let's do this. Hang on. Okay. Never try to. That is the best sound. And I just got done mowing the lawn. I hopped in the shower really quick, and I hopped out, and I told my wife, I'm going to live stream tonight. And she was like, say what? She's next door swimming with the neighbors. Shout out to Alex if he watches this later. Okay, here we go. They've been sitting here a little while, so they're not like, it's not like super cold. It's just a little bit below room temp. You gotta keep in mind, it's a red ale, American red ale. That's not bad. That's not bad. And just like that, YouTube turns me off. I really don't know the policy about. I mean, hell, Steven Crowder. I don't know if anyone watches him. He smokes cigars on the damn show, and I think they even drink beer, and they've got guns on the deck. Like, come on, I'm supporting Razorback, the official craft beer for Arkansas Razorbacks, for the Razorbacks, okay? It's not terrible. I'm not a big, I'm not a huge, okay, that's a lie. I do like a beer, especially after mowing the lawn. Man, something about coming inside when you're just pouring with sweat, like water, you need water, but they say beer actually hydrates better. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something alcoholics say. Ooh, that's not bad. It's not bad. It's got a little thickness to it. Okay. All right, one down. I don't know. Should I just drink these as we go here? I got 5 left. My dad's watching this, shaking his head like, "Oh my God, Ty, I did not raise you to drink beer." God, how do you get it? There we go. You just a little bit different too. Hey, it's not the. We don't want to choke any ducks in any landfills, so you cover the rings. Woo! All right, okay. Ty, haven't seen you in a month. What's up, Tony Brown? How you doing? Godzilla's coming out of the ocean next month. It's 2020, right? Isn't there an asteroid the size of a stadium, of something like a really long building? I don't know. That's something alcoholics say. Proceeds to turn up beer. Oh yeah, I just love that sound. I know you guys do. Okay, let's pull up the old notepad here. We're fixing to watch Ty get hungover. Look, it's just 6 beers. Although I am a lightweight these days, I'm not someone who sits around and drinks beer. I'm not. But when the occasion calls, when I do drink, I'm going to drink a few burrs. Okay, Ty, what is worse, Arkansas football, the virus, or Chad Morris? I mean, just Chad Morris in general. Let's start off first. We know that Arkansas, we'll get into recruiting. Arkansas gains a commitment from Jaden Wilson, 6'3", 172-pound, 3-star wide receiver. He committed back on the 2nd. This kid's got some offers. Cal, Louisville, Nebraska, Mizzou, Ole Miss, UCLA, just to name a few. I think he's got somewhere around 15. He's another one of those kids who's recruiting over the summer. Seems like it's starting to turn up a little bit. Again, big frame, 6'3", closer to about 175 pounds. Here we go. I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all heard that. I try not to belch into the microphone. But anyways, yeah, got his commitment. That was a good one. 4-star, 6'2", 210-pound athlete, Mr. Raheem Sanders. I can't quit belching. Will announce his commitment on Instagram, 6 p.m. Monday on June 8th. So for those of you who, I don't know if you're on Instagram, he says he's going to go live at 5:50, but then he's going to announce at 6 p.m. so that way you get like a 10-minute head start. You know how they do. I understand, I think I voiced my opinion on this before. I don't mind there being this huge celebration for this kid, so long as it's about the kid. Make it about it's the biggest thing in his life that's happening. This is huge. He's fixing to go to a college that's going to pay for his ability to go to school and play the sport that he loves that could possibly propel him to the NFL. This is all about him, and then the community comes in and they make it. Look, I know I'm from South Fayetteville. I get that it's a big deal. It's a big deal for a community to have that, and they want. But I just sometimes wish that they would make it about that young man, so that it may be down the road. And it's very for most Division I athletes, it's kind of hard to get to the NFL. We all know that. But maybe down the road, he's going to come back to that community with his college education, or possibly, at a much slimmer possibility, he's going to be rich from the NFL. He's going to come back and pay it back to his community and make it all about the community. I don't know. I love the big celebrations. So long as they're about the kid, man. Make it about the kid. But then again, it is what it is. Tip this back again. These need to be colder. I need to put these in like an ice box. I need a cooler. But yeah, because I've seen where they live stream those, or they'll post the video, and the kid's just sitting there. He's just like, yep. At Fayetteville, I can remember when the Clark brothers signed. Of course, back then you're talking 2000, at Fayetteville. But it was really cool. The high school came together. The Clark family was all there. I think they were. Interesting factoid. I actually played T-ball with Cody Clark. If you guys remember the Clark brothers, they were, Zach obviously was a quarterback here. His little brother pitched at Arkansas. They were, the Clark family. People, old school Fayettevilleans know of the Clark family. But or anybody who's paid attention to Arkansas football for a while. But I can remember that being like a really cool thing. There's nothing wrong with them having like a celebration. It's just when they make it about, sometimes you feel like they make it about themselves and not the kid. That's my only beef. But anyways, going down the road here. Raheem Sanders, again, 4-star athlete, 6'2", 210 pounds, speedy. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't watched a ton of film on him, but I'm going to get to know him a lot more here in the next over the weekend. I plan on doing some more research on him. I've only recently, I knew they offered him, but I haven't done a whole lot of research beyond that other than watching a little bit of film. All right, also, Arkansas, after the commitment from Jaden Wilson, that puts the recruiting at 48th in the country, and according to 24/7 Sports, 48th, so you're still in the top 50. I'm going to say this. And I'm going to talk about another in-state prospect here in just a second. There's some news on a current. If you listen to the Hog Talk podcast today, which is available, it was released to you guys this morning at 6 a.m. So if you listen to that, you're going to hear a little bit of what we talked about here, there. You're going to hear what we talked about there, here, there. There we go. Okay. A lot of people, and I say a lot. I've had a couple of people in the last month or so, I carry on a pretty interesting conversation with some friends of mine in group text, and they're complaining about the recruiting rankings like, okay, Sam Pittman is not living up to the expectations. Even acknowledging that COVID-19 has played a huge role. And I believe I've voiced this before on the Hawk Talk, and if I haven't, then I'll be sure to do that on the next one, and I'm going to say it right here. With the NCAA, who I believe they actually expanded their halt on allowing coaches to go on official visits. I forgot when that date is up. I want to say it's until August, but I could be wrong. And we know also, for those of you who are kind of on the outside, NCAA, you can now have voluntary workouts, by the way, for all two of you who aren't aware of that. So you can have coaches can't be in contact, but they the players can show up for voluntary workouts. For anybody who've ever played high school football, you know why I'm doing the quotations. You got to be there. Let's be honest, especially with what's happened. But when the NCAA finally allows these coaches to go into the homes of these prospects and their families, Sam Pittman is going to thrive. You've seen Tennessee. You've seen their recruiting over the last couple of months. Okay, advantage to Tennessee, but I fully expect they're going to have some decommitments. I don't believe they're going to sign all those kids. And look, that's usually the case anywhere across the country. Point to any program, and you could say, well, yeah, okay, you got these commitments, but until they sign it in ink, it doesn't mean anything, and that's true. I really believe that Tennessee's going to experience some decommitments before, maybe even before the first signing period in December. But once you allow Sam Pittman to get into the homes of these kids, to talk with their families. Have you guys watched his Zoom conversations with the media? Someone had asked him about, and I don't want to get political here, we did that on the Hog Talk for the first 10, 15 minutes. We kind of talked about some of the events that have happened. But if you're just reading his face when they ask him about how he's addressing his players about the recent events with what's happened with Black Lives Matter and everything. And he even says, when they're moving on to the question, he goes, how do you even you can see it in his face. He feels for his players. He feels for those kids that are affected by what they're talking about. And he's just like, how do you even go on to explain that? How do you imagine he's sitting, and that's not an act. That's not some bullshit act like you would see from probably, I don't know, I'm not going to say Chad Morris isn't sincere. That's not fair. I feel like maybe Bobby Petrino. That's not some BS act that you would see. That is him. That's Sam Pittman. I have had the opportunity, actually, when Porter and I went to a women's basketball game. We approached him. I didn't say much to him, but just watching him interact with people. That guy, he's just like a big old lovable teddy bear, man, and he's a good dude. You get that vibe just being around him. For anyone else maybe who's in chat or watching this later, if you've ever been around him, you know what I'm talking about. You just get that guy is sincere and honest. Imagine that in the living room when he's talking with these prospects and the players, not about the Black Lives Movement stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. Just in general, when he's recruiting, when he's out doing his thing, there's a reason why he's an elite recruiter. There's a reason why here he was able to walk into Florida and take a big-time prospect out of the state of Florida who had offers from Florida State, who had offers from Miami and Florida. There's a reason why he's been able to, to get these kids to come to Arkansas when he was the offensive line coach. Georgia sells itself, especially lately. But he still, look at how many draft picks he had in the first round this year. It was 2. He's had 7 total. And I'm still wondering about that number. I was surprised it actually wasn't more. But they credited him for 7 total first-round offensive linemen taken in the draft. So once this thing lifts and he's able to sit down with the families and the prospect, you're going to see that rank. You're going to see stars. You're going to see kids come along. So just be patient. Moving on, Aaron Outley. 6'4", 245, roughly just under 250-pound, 3-star tight end. Again, out of Little Rock. There's some rumors circulating. I can't speak to how true they are, but supposedly Florida State is now an actual, there's, if Arkansas had any competition for him as it stands now, what I've seen and what little I've actually been told in the last couple of weeks, Florida State is making a strong push. I think the media has actually talked about that a little bit. But Florida State, and I've been saying this for a while, I've been all over Aaron Outley going back to earlier this year. He stands out on film. I really believe the reason why he doesn't have more stars next to his name is because of the fact that he's not. I mean, there's been no camps. So how sincere are the 3 stars next to his name? I really think that if you do get these Nike Spark events or just the camps, the 24/7, the Rivals camps, once they get a chance to watch him, I think you'll see him climb. That doesn't necessarily mean he'll get that 4th star, but you look at his offers. His recruiting since really about February it's just skyrocketed. You name a Power 5, I think they have an offer on him by now. I think Penn State, I know Florida State, LSU, Michigan State, but his offers are just piling up, whereas it wasn't really until the tail end of 2019 that people started to kind of catch on. Me as well, me included. I just kind of I was hearing the name. A friend of mine texted me and said, you really need to look at Aaron Outley, this kid down in Little Rock. I was like, all right, well, I'll look him up, and I did, and I was watching film. I was like, okay, and it was his junior highlight film, and I was pretty surprised. I shouldn't say surprised, but someone who's 6'4", 200, almost 50 pounds, he reminds me so much of DJ Williams. He really does. Aaron Outley does. Now, as for the next player to commit, there's all sorts of, we just mentioned Raheem Sanders or Rocket Sanders. I do believe it sounds like Arkansas is going to be, I think he ends up being a Hawk. I could be wrong. I've also heard and kind of, we've been hearing this now for the last 2 months that the 4-star defensive back down in Fort Smith, Drayden Norwood, could also commit. You know how this goes. Some things could change between now and by the end of summer. But I feel pretty strongly that before the regular season you could see him commit to Arkansas. Okay. All right, hang on. Let's get goes down smooth. I'm actually surprised. I think I want to say I paid like $8 for the 6-pack. No, is that right? I don't know. I'm real bad, and my wife can attest to this. I'm really bad about just picking stuff up, throwing it in the cart. Like, oh, that looks cool. Throwing it in the cart without looking at the price. I want to say I paid like $8 or $9. Hell, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to get caught up on your chats really quick. I can't drink hot beer. Just a big old nope. It's not hot. I don't know if you guys are talking about another. It's not hot. It's just it's just a little bit below room temp. Like it's a little cool to the touch. It's not cold. I like it ice cold. That's how I like beer. I'm going to be the black sheep of the Arkansas State Marching Band if I'm there at the time they play. Okay, I was gonna go into the Florida State drama with Mike Norvell, but we might as well just get into it about Arkansas and Arkansas State. Yeah, so it sounds like Arkansas. That's the news. Arkansas is going to play Arkansas State in every sport but football. Now, that's just to clarify, it's a lot easier to schedule. I say easier. Football is difficult to schedule for. You have to schedule years in advance. Maybe that's why they didn't give us a date or anything at all about football. I don't know why they didn't just come out and say, you know what, we're just gonna play them across the board. Whatever they want to play, we're gonna schedule them, even if we're 4 or 5 years out on the scheduling. We're still gonna play them. We're still gonna, we're gonna figure that out. And they just came out and said everything but football. I don't know why. That is a little odd to me. I'm all for it. I know that that's not a popular opinion amongst Razorback fans. The three pillars of Arkansas football fan talk, or the three biggest, I think, right now. We've got Nolan's name on the court. We finally got that one. I was all for that. I kind of think they ought to build him a statue, if you want my honest opinion. I think what that guy did, Sutton rebuilt the program, and then Nolan Richardson came in and turned it into a powerhouse. I'm all for it. I'm not saying I'm not going down to the university with pitchforks like, hey, build a statue. But if they did, I definitely wouldn't be against it. Okay, so you got that pillar up. Forward-facing hog, I hate it. Burn that thing to the ground. That's another hot topic amongst the hot topic pillars I think we're trying to build here. Get rid of that forward-facing hog. It's disgusting. Looks like something out of Disney. Looks like Lion King. It does have some similarities with the Arkansas State logo. It's disgusting. I hate it. I know that I got in an argument with a guy a couple of years ago who has the tattoo on his body. He's like, of course he's defending it and everything. And I'm like, dude, it's not my fault that you've got the Lion King, the warthog from Lion King on your arm. That's, it is what it is. At least he says that was him. That could have just been a picture he took. I don't know. You never know on Twitter. Okay, so that's the other one. And then playing in Little Rock, I'm not going down that road on that one right now, but that's a big debate. And then the Arkansas State debate. I have no problem playing these guys. One of the reasons, shut them up. And fans are freaking out about, well, if you lose to them, if you lose to Arkansas State, oh, that's going to devastate recruiting. Are you kidding me? How often does Arkansas honestly compete with Arkansas State on talent in any sport? And if you think 1 year, let's say they played them one of these last 2 years, or last 3 years, the last year under Brett Bielema, the last 2 years under Chad Morris, you really think that even that is going to change anybody's mind? Arkansas is a terrible program right now, and you could argue that Arkansas State is at its, I don't know, peak, whatever you want to call it. They're doing a lot better than no one is talking about. They're not even weighing Arkansas State as an option. Not a single one of these top 10 prospects in the state. You only put out, I don't know how many Division I athletes Arkansas is going to put out this year in the 2021 class in football. It doesn't happen. Maybe it has once. I don't know. Maybe there's been one time. I know Memphis beat out Arkansas for a really good running back years ago that went on and did some things in the NFL. But that was a little bit different. From what I remember about that recruiting was he wanted to stay home and as close to home as possible, so he ended up going to Memphis, plus Arkansas was stacked at running back. But nobody is talking about Arkansas State as a threat even to the other Sun Belt schools. So that's the only argument that I've seen, that if you go in and you play State, well, you're a crap program if you lose to them. You're risking everything if you play Arkansas State. No, you're not. You're really not. You lose to them a year, so what? The great thing is you can schedule them again and whoop their ass later. Louisiana Monroe beat us in 2012. You don't see a bunch of prospects flocking down there, and they're not that far. I mean, when you talk about other programs, can't really use Tulsa as an example, but we've lost to other Power 5 or to non-Power 5s. Players aren't flocking to those schools is the point that I'm making. It's not going to have an effect on recruiting. Who cares? And I think now maybe we're getting to a point where the status quo, hopefully, no longer is losing to programs. I don't know. I could be, Nevada's going to be pretty good. They're going to come in here, and who knows what they do. They could beat Arkansas. Nevada's actually a pretty respectable program. But hopefully the status quo after this season, that changes. I don't know. I just think people freak out about it, and I really I don't know why. I don't get it. I'm all for it. But you're going to play them in every sport. And I'm not saying you got to set up a rivalry. I'm not saying that either. But you're going to play them in every sport except football. So I do imagine probably within the next 2-3 years, they'll probably have Arkansas State scheduled for basketball. You've already played interstate schools in baseball. So, and that was what was fascinating too. They were like Arkansas State and other interstate schools. Well, they've already done that in baseball, but so yeah, I'm all for it. Let's play them. Let's do it. Let's do it. Arkansas State and all the other interstate schools, bring them on. Why are you scared? That's the other question too. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm all for it. I'm okay with it. 5.2, huh? All right. Knock them down. Stock them and knock them. So, what do you guys think? Are you on board with it? Are you opposed to it? I already know I'm going to catch some heat about the forward-facing hog because there are some fans that absolutely love the forward-facing hog. I don't know why. It looks terrible. His nose, it's the snout rather. Okay. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Mike Norvell, I don't know if you guys caught this or not. Mike Norvell down at Florida State told The Atlantic, which is a pretty, Atlantic media, told them he was having, quote-unquote, individual conversations with Florida State players. Several players took to Twitter claiming they never happened. I do think it's possible he had isolated conversations here and there with other players. I think it's a possibility. But several of their players have spoke out. They're not working out. They're not participating in team activities down at Florida State. Yeah, this was a guy that, if you remember, we wanted him. I liked him as a candidate. I mean, they're considering what you had out there, what else was out there, and what was realistic. But there were rumors that were supposedly spread by the board of trustees at the University of Arkansas that Mike Norvell was an alcoholic, or that he had gambling problems. There was all sorts of just drama. Well, now you see this happen, and it makes you wonder, maybe there was something to his character. Why would you lie to the media like that, especially one as big as The Atlantic? And if he's willing to go that far, who knows what else he's capable of doing. So you kind of feel like he's already lost his locker room, and that's unfortunate for Florida State fans. They want a turnaround from the last guy, similar to the way the Razorback fans feel about Chad Morris. You want a turnaround. That's not a good first step for him. Remember, we just talked about Aaron Outley. Florida State is all over Aaron Outley. Does this have an impact on his recruiting? So, I'm trying to go over my notes from the Hog Talk. Yeah, I covered Arkansas. Sam Pittman talked with the media. He kind of talked about, getting these kids here and just kind of easing into the process. He was quoted as saying, "We're going to start slow with our kids." They reported on June 8th. Is that right? I think it's June 8th. Kyle had to remind me on the podcast. Now I forgot again. I think it's June 8th. But he was quoted as saying, "We're going to start slow with the kids. The biggest thing you don't want to do is get them in here and go so rapid that you're injury prone." Staff has been in constant contact with players through Zoom and other means, so that's been going on. There's been some form of communication there. He also went on to say, "I'll be honest with you." I'm still belching here. I'm sorry. I'll be honest with you. I've heard different coaches speak about this. I trust our kids, and I trust that they're doing what we ask them to do. So he's talking about just the workouts they want them to do at home, strength and conditioning. Not everybody has the same access to workout equipment, but I kind of brought this up on the Hog Talk. This entire season could really come down to what did these kids do during the unorthodox offseason. You didn't have spring camp, which is your normal routine, right? You take that time off, then you have spring camp, and then you get ready for summer camp, then you report to fall camp, the regular fall camp, and then you get into preparation for week one. You took that out with spring camp. It's gone. You didn't have it. You didn't have, voluntary workouts start June 8th. What were they doing over the spring, and what have they been doing since then? Are their bodies in shape? Watching the Michael Jordan documentary, something he brought up, he talked about the year he came back out of retirement, and he said he didn't work his body out. He wasn't in full season conditioning. He hadn't been doing that. And his first year back, I don't remember this. I'll be honest, I was so young. And if I remember the documentary right, that first year back, he didn't have a very good season. And it showed because of the conditioning matters. Conditioning is such a big deal. The regular workout routine. For any of you CrossFit junkies out there, you understand that. You get that. Imagine doing CrossFit for however you're supposed to do it and then taking a really long period of time off and not doing what you're supposed to be doing within the procedure of CrossFitting. I mean, everyone should know all about it because anyone who does that tells you all about being involved in CrossFit. But imagine doing that and then coming back and getting back into that regular routine. You're out of your routine. So the strength and conditioning side of things matter during the offseason. So we had this unorthodox offseason. Are these guys going to be and here's the other thing, too. If you're not where you're supposed to be conditioning-wise, they're going to have to now work on that when they do start camping. And I think I'm a little mixed up on when they're supposed to come back and when mandatory workouts happen. I want to say I think that was mid-July. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But they're going to have to use the mandatory time because coaches can't have contact with the players right now. They can have no contact. And the only reason why the strength and conditioning coaches are allowed there is to make sure these kids are safe while they're working out using the equipment. So you're going to have to spend a large portion of what should be installation of the offense in getting these guys prepared for the regular season. So now you've got to prepare, or you have to wait to prepare and then installing the offense just so you can make time to get yourself or to make up what you missed during spring camp. And to miss out all that time they've missed out on in terms of strength and conditioning. You're getting caught up. So this whole season could really hinge on whether or not these kids did what they were supposed to do. If they didn't, you're going to be behind. And so on top of all the unorthodox, all the stuff that's happened this offseason, now you've got a new system you're trying to install, a new head coach that some of these kids haven't even met yet. With the new assistants and the new offense and defense they're going to be working under. All the offense and defense that has to be installed is going to have to wait because now we got to make sure these kids are up to date on strength and conditioning. So this whole season could really hinge on that. Obviously, installing the offense matters. And getting all that stuff, getting used to getting back to the physical side of things, that matters. But strength and conditioning is such a big deal. That was just, anyone who played sports, even at the high school level, understands that. Or anybody who's been a part of a workout regimen understands that. So that's a big deal, and it matters. And I hope these young men are ready to go. I hope they're in tip-top shape. They show up. They don't have a problem with the snake drill. They don't have a problem with the 100-yard sprints down and back. Counts as one. I can remember my head coach. Counts as one. I hope they're ready for all that so then they can start installing the offense. Let's kick this back. God bless American beer. Okay. And so that's what he was saying. I'll be honest with you. I've heard, different coaches talking about the subject here, about these kids, what they're doing during the offseason. I trust our kids, and I trust that they're doing what we ask them to do. God only helps. Okay, yeah, and we're coming towards the end of this. This is really the last thing I have. If you guys have anything, I'll try and get caught up on chat. Arkansas and Arkansas State players have tested positive for COVID-19. I think Arkansas State reported 7 cases. These are athletes, student athletes. Arkansas, as far as I know, last I saw was 1 case. Arkansas State 7. Look at that. Arkansas State's already beaten us at something. I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. You need to take it serious. COVID-19, take it serious, please. Exercise precaution, wear the mask, Germ-X, wash your hands for 20 seconds, all that stuff. But look, you had all the protests across the state and across the country. I think I was telling a friend of mine this on Marco Polo. This could be the real test. you had a lot of people in these large. Remember, before this, you weren't supposed to gather, right? And you had all these protests. Well, now I'm wondering if we see spikes in those cities. That this could be an honest-to-God test on what this means when you get a large group of people together who are supposedly, participating in social distancing and doing what they're supposed to do with wearing the mask. Not everybody was. Not everybody was following those guidelines. So this is a test. And I don't mean this to take away from what they were protesting about. Please. Peaceful protesting, I'm all for it. This country was founded on that, and this was absolutely a cause to protest, as long as you were not rioting and looting. I'm not getting into that. We're not getting political here. But not everybody was practicing all the necessary things to prevent COVID. So this is going to be an honest-to-God test. I think there's one going on tonight in Rogers, actually, another peaceful protest. You had one in Fayetteville. The Bentonville one, I heard, kind of got a little out of hand. They popped tear gas and everything, but we're going to see if in Northwest Arkansas supposedly was going to be the next area hit really hard. Supposedly, sorry, I've been corrected on that. My bad. Supposedly, Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas was going to get hit really hard, and they have seen a spike. I believe the governor just a couple of days ago had talked about this a little bit, and so if this thing spikes, if you get another spike, the question, and we've talked about this a million times, a lot of you have with your friends and family, if you see another giant spike, not even a pretty good sized spike, what kind of impact will that have on, fall sports? I think if we see a spike in deaths, which, by the way, New York today had their first day since all this began, I guess, that a single death from COVID-19, by the way. And there's other parts of the world that are reporting that their numbers are down, and across the country they're reporting their numbers down as far as cases. But I think Arkansas has actually seen an increase. Again, fact check me on that, please. I may be wrong on that. Please do your due diligence there. And like I said, always take precaution. But if you see another spike, it absolutely could have an impact on whether or not we have fall sports. We're going into it. It's crunch time. And I think July, in that beginning part of August, it's going to be paramount that we don't see a spike if we want fall sports to happen, if we want football to come back. I think that it will. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I've said that here before. I don't have a PhD in anything. I've got a PhD in trying beer. That's a lie. I'm not even a big beer guy, but this is not bad. Two down, 4 to go. I'm about to end this. You get to talking, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I said I was going to drink this beer. And now it's starting to get room temp. Yep, I can feel it. I don't know if I want to drink this room temp. I won't drink it room temp. I just won't. So, all right, let me get caught up on your comments really quick. I think we touched on quite a bit. There's a lot here to talk about. Installing the defense matters, too. Well, yeah, of course. I don't know if you're talking to somebody else in chat, but yeah, I've covered that. Installing the offense and the defense. Where do you think Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones fall in the draft? I don't know about Mason Jones. I don't know. I haven't. The last I saw Isaiah Joe, neither one of them were even mentioned. Oh boy, here we go. Woo! Oh, I can't do it one-handed. Can you guys do it one-handed? I got big old hands too, and I can't do it one-handed. I can't do it. I see people do it, and I'm like, how do you do that? We'll just. Oh yeah, there you go, you son of a. You SOB. My dad doesn't like it when I swear. I'm sorry, Arky56. I swear. I'm 36 years old. Get over it. I'm a grown man. Yeah, I don't know. Last I saw, neither one of those two guys were even projected in the top 50. I don't know why you would go. Because Isaiah Joe, you get a full year under your belt. Year 2 under Musselman. You've got some honest-to-God talent coming in. Why wouldn't you come back? You've got some size underneath. You've got guys that are going to be able to probably operate this system pretty damn well, and some possible future NBA prospects now on your roster. Why wouldn't you come back to play with that? Like, Isaiah Joe to me is, to anyone who paid attention to last season, you saw what happened when he got banged up. We couldn't figure out why the hell is Isaiah Joe struggling. What's going on? Oh, yeah, he got hurt. We found out later he was hurt and he needed to take some time off and surgery. Okay. We've been going to Walmart for 3 months. There won't be more of a spike than from that. Let's hope not. Can we get a chug on one of those beers? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to choke on camera here. Well, I got a PhD in beer. No, I'm lying. Do Arkansas versus Arkansas State happen in Little Rock? God, I hope not. I want that game in Fayetteville. I know people down Central Arkansas. There's something about Arkansas State down there. I want it in Fayetteville. I'd love to see that game in Fayetteville. I don't know. Oh, no, you're going to offend someone with your burps. Well, I have had people complain. A guy came through my comment section, what was that, about a year ago, who said, I'm not here to watch a fat bearded guy slurp on soda or something or make sounds with his mouth drinking soda. I don't know. And it is what it is. I really don't care. But guys leaving early are going to miss the fun next season. New Zealand has only one active case of COVID. Wow, I didn't know that. And like you said, abiding by government guidelines with social distancing. Austin Foster. Okay. Jacob, I don't know what you said, buddy, but your message got retracted. I'm sorry. That had nothing to do with me. Austin Foster says, wouldn't say they're at their peak with ASU since Lancewell had them win a title and competing for them low levels back in the 70s. Yeah, but I'm talking – right, but what division were they, Austin? They're just now Division I as of what? In the 2000s, early 2000s. There's a difference in winning at that level, at least, even if it's non-Power 5, compared to winning at whatever they were in back in the 70s. Yeah, I would argue that the last 10 years has been the best 10 years in their program's history since joining this division. So I disagree there. Also, I just don't see the similarities in the Hog and the Wolf. If you look at the outlines, the dark black lettering, just obviously it being a forward-facing logo, I know those are everywhere, but the red with the out, I just don't like it, and it does to me look somewhat similar, like someone it looks like Jeff Long hired the same guy that designed that logo, the Arkansas State Red Wolf logo. I hate that forward-facing hog. I hate it. I think it's trash. That's okay. We can agree to disagree. I just don't like it, and I think it needs to be gone. I have thought about starting one of those online petitions about getting it taken down. I freaking hate that logo. It is disgusting. I wish they wouldn't have it on any of the uniforms. Take it down. Still funny to say that. Let's see. Still funny to think that scouts for coaches and Eric Musselman had an anger issue. Not gonna lie, I want the slobbering hog back. I do like that when they put Nolan's name on the court. If you look, you've got that little slobbering hog there to the side. I love that. God, I love that. I love that slobbering hog. We're not playing them in football because we know that they will beat us. There might be some truth to that. I really think it has more to do with scheduling because it takes the Notre Dame thing. I remember hearing about them scheduling Notre Dame like 3 years ago. So it takes them a while. I think that has something to do with it. But why not come out and just say we plan on playing them in football? I don't know. Maybe you're right. They're scared. I don't know. Hot beer's nasty. I agree. That's funny. Let's see. Ty still wonder why Lane Kiffin lowballed us. I have my own take on all that stuff with Kiffin. I really believe, I don't know. There's so many different angles to all that. I don't think Hunter Yurachek wanted to play games with Kiffin, with anybody. And here you have Sam Pittman, who players are all but petitioning for, former players. They're taking to social media. And I'm sure, look, that happened before. You remember John L. Smith. You remember how much those players respected John L. when he was just the special teams coach. Of course, he had a background. He was a head coach at a couple of other Power 5 schools, and he had kind of a history there. And it made sense to some degree as to why you were making him the head coach. Not that it does it with Sam Pittman, but I'm saying, the comparisons there. Former players are speaking up about John L. and how much they respected him. Here you had that with that same case. I think he wanted a guy that he knew wanted to be a Razorback. Sam Pittman wanted to be a Razorback. And didn't even ask about the salary. He already accepted the job, and that was his own words. He accepted the job before he knew what the salary was. That, to Hunter Yurachek's a win-win. Because if he doesn't, and this is real talk, this is kind of like kick back, whatever, kind of shooting the breeze talk. Okay? This isn't me talking about sources. But if you lose your ass on Hunter, or if you lose with Sam Pittman, let's be real. Let's on just street level here, okay? If he loses, you're not losing your ass on Sam Pittman. That's a win-win. If he wins, okay, then you extend his contract and you give him whatever contract his agent feels like he deserves. And so it's a win-win situation for Hunter. Now, you do risk. Obviously, there's a big risk there. If he loses, if he has a 2-10 season, oh, God. If you have another 2-10 or maybe even 3-9, fans aren't going to be happy. I think fans at this point are happy with anything more than 2 wins, but 3-9 is not going to cut it either. But if he comes in and maybe he goes 2-10, 3-9, and then the next year, then you start seeing that slow build like we were told would happen with Brett Bielema, which we did, in fact, but then you had that sharp drop-off there his last couple of years. But if you get that build up, you can expand that contract. You can give him the extensions, pay him what he's worth. It's a win-win. The guy has assistants that want to coach for him. He's going to be able to bring in good position coaches. You feel like with his strength being line of scrimmage, offensive, he was offensive line coach. Obviously, you feel like the offensive line is going to be empowered there. They're going to be better. That's an area that Arkansas struggled at now for the last 4 or 5 years. Well, not quite that long. Really, probably about the last 4 years. But that offensive line's just been tough. It's just not been It's just not been good. It's been tough to build. So you feel like he's going to reinforce that, and then he's going to bring in the big time. I mean, look at who he has as an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That speaks for itself, right? Win-win situation. If he doesn't win out in 2-3 years, then you move on, and hopefully by then you've accumulated a little bit of cash, God willing. You haven't gone broke because of COVID-19. You can go after a coach that's a little bit more desirable. I have my own feelings as to what I think about Sam Pittman and as to whether or not he works. What I do, and I'm not going to go down that road because it's still kind of developing. He's never been a head coach before. I love what that guy brings as far as recruiting. He is a guru. And even if he doesn't get the talent like the 4- and 5-star guys here, he could find diamonds in the mud, man. Well, that's probably not the right diamonds in the rough, but he could find. I mean, he really could pick someone who is not highly touted, someone who doesn't have a ton of great Division I Power 5 offers. He could find them. Dan Skipper was a 4-year starter. Frank Ragnow was a 3-star. I think he had some legit. I can't remember who all had offered him. I think he had a couple of Power 5s, but still, look at what Frank Ragnow went on to do. Dan Skipper was a 4-year starter. He did manage to pick up some great prospects and even guys that didn't have a lot of star power next to their names, and they still did good here. Arkansas had the heaviest offensive line across football, not just college, but pro as well. The heaviest line of scrimmage, when was that? Was that 2014, 15? Not that means you're the best, but they turned out to be a pretty damn good offensive line. You produce some great production out of your backfield. Alex Collins and Jonathan Williams, because of that dominant, big, tough, physical, bunch of big old mean fatties on the offensive line. That's what Sam Pittman was able to do. So he can sculpt from clay, and I think that's the advantage that he has. But not being a head coach is I think, we'll see. I know there's some examples you can pick from, the guys that were never coordinators or who took a while to become head coaches that went on and saw some success. I don't know any off the top of my head. But I do feel like recruiting, like I said earlier, recruiting's going to pick up. I absolutely believe recruiting is going to pick up once they allow him to get into the living rooms of these families. Once the NCAA says, okay, all right, go do what you need to do. Go talk to these players. We're going to lift the dead period, which, again, they extended. So, let's see. Kiffin wanted us to get into a bidding war. Yurchek wasn't doing it. Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened. That is exactly what I think happened. I don't think Hunter Yurchek wanted any part of that. He wanted somebody who wanted the job because, Sam Pittman, again, you talked about his love and passion. He grew up in East Oklahoma. Razorbacks dominate East Oklahoma. They did probably back when he was a kid, when he was growing up. Oklahoma State's obviously come a long ways, and Oklahoma's always been really good going back for – I don't know their history, but they've been great for a while. But he understands the culture. It just made too much sense for along with – the former players that played under him here, them speaking out, so it just kind of goes hand in hand. Dabo was never a coordinator. Dabo is the only example, but Dabo also wasn't 58 years old, right? Philip Fulmer's a good example. Fulmer was an offensive line coach at Tennessee, if I remember correctly, or from what I remember researching. I don't think he was ever a coordinator. There are some examples here and there, but it's just not super common. But that doesn't mean that Sam Pittman's not going to work out here. I have my reservations. I am a skeptic. He wasn't my first pick. You guys, I talked about that here. But I really like all the other things that he brings to the job. And I used to talk about that light at the end of the tunnel for Chad Morris, which was stacking up talent. Once you get that talent on campus, what then could he do with it? Year 2, he saw no improvement. In fact, he was just as bad, if not worse, in year 2, and he got fired, rightfully so. I'm pretty excited about the Arkansas defensive line. Yeah, I am too. You got Xavier Kelly. He's going to be here. We struggled at O-line since he left. Really, that is, and I'm trying to think back when that happened. What was that, 2000? When did he leave? 16? 15? 16, right? Forward-facing Hogs sucks. Thank you. It sucks. They were back in the FCS at the time. They joined the FBS in 2001. Yeah, it was early 2000s when Arkansas State joined the stepped it up, got out of their crappy division, and now they're in the Sun Belt. And they are playing they have a better brand of football than Arkansas does. Have you seen the staff Kiffin put together? We dodged a bullet. I haven't. I'm getting my Bible put together for the off season or for summer, which is Athlon, Lindy's magazine. I'm getting ready. I'm going to put aside more time to do some more research. I cannot wait. It's my favorite time of the year. I love reading Athlon magazine and Lindy's magazines. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with his staff, but I'd take Arkansas's right now. I love what he's put together. Yeah, the Ole Miss staff was better last year. I don't know why. But I still don't know why my contract or my comment got retracted. I don't know either, Jacob. It's weird. Certain buzzwords or keywords, Google just, I don't know. I hate it. It's stupid. Let me have that power. YouTube doesn't need that. Let me determine whether or not it needs to be public or not. That's funny. I didn't put anything. Was that for saying shame on you for burping? Oh, might have been. Yeah. Chad Morris was an experienced head coach, and he sucked. Well, he had 3 years at SMU. I don't know if that this is a different level. SEC football. I mean, yeah, he had 3 years. It's going to be curious to see what he does as an offensive coordinator at Auburn. Yeah, most of Kiffin's staff is a group of 5 Florida school position coaches. Oh, boy. Fun times. All right, I'm going to polish off this the third beer. I'm going to probably go next door. I might swim. I don't know what we're doing. Neighbors put up a really nice above-ground pool. Really nice above-ground pool. It's nice. It's a lot nicer, especially than what we have. We've got this little, it's like 2 feet. Theirs is like 4 feet. It looks really good, too. So I'm going to go cool off in their backyard. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping by and being a part of this. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And, Yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I'm going to try and get into a routine of doing these. I want to go back to that Monday, Friday routine that I was in. So, yeah, and I'll try to keep you up to date on social media or in Discord. I know these things are last minute, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by. So, Ole Miss sucks. So does LSU. LSU sucks. By the way, I had somebody in my Facebook DMs. What did he say? I'm not going to say his name. He messaged me today. I was going to say tonight. He says, what did he say? Where is that? He said that I was, he liked my here it is. Me too. I can't wait to see your video tonight. I love your swag and how you put down LSU. I've got swag, baby. I don't think I've ever heard that someone liked me for my swag, but man, I'll take it. So shout out to you. You know who you are, I think, if you're in chat or if you watch this video later. I love your swag. And yeah, LSU sucks. I agree. So, all right. Woo, Pig Sue, and go Hogs. I'll see you hopefully sooner than later. You guys be good.